Hey, my fellow YouTubers. So here is the next video of the series, which is full suspension mountain bikes under 1500. So it starts getting kind of exciting now, if you ask me. So obviously the first video I did regarding mountain bikes was under 1000. And there, when you're dealing with 1000 or less, we try to get the best functionality for the price. So when we up it to 1500, I start seeing some really it's quite a big jump in it's difficult to say quality, but I'm gonna say it anyways. In quality wise, it's a pretty big jump in suspension technology, in quality, and you're going from that kind of in mindset of beginner bike for mountain bikes to, hey, this can hold its own in almost any terrain, any trail. Not that the ones that we picked out under 1000 can't. They can, but with some sacrifices. Weight or suspension technology. That's really what it came down to. So, as usual, I have a couple of websites that I use for this to look at and discuss what's available, what's out there at the price range. One of them being Jensen USA. I'm not sponsored by any of these websites. Unfortunately, they don't pay me a single dime. I wish they did, but they don't. So, that all being said, we're going to jump straight into it. We're going to discuss a little bit about suspension technology, and for you uber geeks out there, if I mispronounce or don't know the technical term of a particular suspension, it's just because I might lack the verbiage, but I do know sort of different suspension technologies and how they work and what you want to be looking for at this price range. All this being said, so I have Jensen USA Performance Bicycle. I went to Diamondback bikes and then Rally bikes, and I also went to bikesdirect.com because their offering at the price range was seems to be pretty good, and we'll go over that. I'm not going over the majors being Trek, Specialized, Giant, and Cannondale. What I'm arming you guys with, guys and gals with, is if you go to your local shop, these are the things that you can find online from different brands. So these are the things that you would want to see at your local shop if you're going to your local shop for your big brands. So and you'll understand when I discuss certain suspension technologies and what really look for and what's marketing, right? We wanna kind of understand what is really good and what is really just marketing hype. So if so let me just break the ice real quick regarding wheel size, whether it's 27.5 or 29. Don't let anybody tell you that one is better than the other. Some have pluses and some have minuses. So, and there isn't that big of a difference really between 27.5 and 29. It's slightly different. Let me go quickly over what I feel. I've written plenty of 29ers and I've written plenty of 27.5s. In fact, I own both flavors. So 27.5 is a little bit more agile, a little bit more faster on acceleration, and a little bit easier to maneuver on tight technical sections. Okay, so I kind of narrowed it down just like that. Is it a lot slower than 29? No, it's not. 29 is not necessarily faster. It depends what kind of terrain. Everybody likes to say, oh, 29er is faster. Well, it depends what kind of terrain. 29ers tend to hold the speed. Once you've worked up the speed, tend to hold the speed a little bit better. They have a little bit better rollover ability because it's a little bit larger wheel. But they're a little bit slower in acceleration, and they're a little bit more difficult to maneuver in tight technical sections. There you go. There's plus and minuses with them both. They both are super fun to ride. If you have a dialed in good 29er, it's going to be a great bike for you. You're going to love it. Unless you're a very, very short person, and it might be a little bit difficult. And if you own or buy a 27.5, you're going to love it. It's going to be a great bike. If anything, in my mind, there's more shortcomings in a 29er because it's a little bit more specific than a 27.5. 27.5 is do it all. You can go fast, you can accelerate, you can go tight technical sections. That doesn't mean I'm hating on 29ers. It just means that when you're on a 29er, you can certainly go fast because it maintains your speed really well, but on tight technical sections, there's no two ways about it. You can't cheat the big wheel. So the big wheel is a little bit harder to maneuver during tight technical sections. So it's going to require more skill or preparation on your side to be able to maneuver that. And number two, if there's a lot of accelerations, it's a little bit tougher to accelerate that. It takes a little bit more energy to accelerate that. But there's, I personally have set my best Strava times on 27.5 in my local terrains versus a 29. But I love my 29er. I just built up a 29er and I absolutely love it. I'm riding it. That's my primary bike right now. Doesn't mean it's going to be my primary bike in 3 to 6 months, because I go through bikes very, very quickly. So all that being said, let's go back into it. That was 5 wasted minutes, hopefully not. So let's get back into best bikes under $1,500. And like I said, I'll kind of discuss what I would be looking for, what I really like when it comes to bikes, and what I like to see for that kind of money. Okay. So it's probably going to be an aluminum frame. I haven't seen really any carbon frames at that price range. So aluminum frame. I want a good suspension technology. And for my purposes, I actually want to see a one chain ring in the front. Okay, so one by system. That doesn't mean I'm completely against 2x or 3x, but it's simplicity of life, and it's also what higher end bikes are geared with. So I want to see at this price range what's the most amount of technology that we can possibly purchase, and we'll go from there. This is a Jamis Dakar. People pronounce it different ways. Anyways, you guys see it's a Jamis Dakar. It's a 2016, so it is discounted. They have plenty of sizes available over at Jensen. So if you are like, ooh, 1,500 is stretching it, this one is at $1,299, so $1,300. I think the price range is really good. At that price range, a 2x system looks like a 2x. Let's also make sure here. Yes, it's a 2x10 system, and it's Shimano Dior, which is perfectly fine. This is what I consider kind of like a workhorse. It's a good bike. 1,500 will bring you better than this, but if you're on the low end of that 1,500, you're like, ooh, 1,500 is stretching it. I think this is a great bike. This particular suspension technology, I like. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. A lot of different bikes use very similar ones that have different points and whatnot, but this is a frame. Like if I were to buy a frame, I would build this up personally, frame up with a 1x system and some other parts, but that's just my preference. But as a bike as it is, I don't think you can really go wrong for $1,300 on a bike like that. So it's a pretty good bike. I'm going to move swiftly on to next, and I'll just point out what I see and what I like about them. Quickly going through sizing. So there was one YouTuber that watched one of my previous videos, and he commented on, hey, if you have a good quality local bike shop, they will help you find the right size for you. And that is absolutely true. I will caution you. This is the problem. I say problem. Local bike shops have a duty and also have a need to survive, and I get it. And I talk about online shops all the time, so it is what it is, guys. When you're dealing with a mountain bike, there is generally a 350 mil stem. This is the stem, not stem, seat post. I apologize. Take it back. Seat post. I misspoke. So the seat post is generally 350 mil. You want to get a sized bike where you are definitely extending that seat post quite a bit. Road bikes generally, I say generally, have the seat post a lot lower. You don't want a frame that's too small for you, but just understand that if you have a seat post that extends a little bit not so short, so this is a good image. If you look at this image, you want to be extended quite a ways. It's going to give you a clearance. All right, stand over clearance or whatever. I am 6'1", and I have fairly long legs. Kind of very short upper body and long legs. So I ride anything larger than a 19-inch frame. And the way you measure that is from the center of the bottom bracket, at least the way I measure it, to the top of the seat where the seat post clamp is. So seat post clamp to center of bottom bracket. If it's between 19, 20, 21, then that's what I ride. 21.5 is where I kind of cap it off. I actually bought one extra large frame. I think it's 22 inches, and that's where I draw the line. The larger the frame, the more you're wrestling with underneath you. And if you're a very skilled rider, you can pull it off. But then again, you're going to be more comfortable in a little bit on the smaller side of the frame. Be very careful, though, not to get too small. So if I get too small, if I get a 17-inch frame, then the seat post is just not long enough, and now I've just bought a bike that's just not going to fit. And that's just not fun. So if you need help with getting fit on a bike, then don't be afraid. Go to a bike shop. Don't buy the first visit you go there. Please don't. Go to at least 2 to 3 different bike shops if you're going to go locally. Compare what the bikes come with and the technology that's available, and also compare what everybody says your sizing is. And when you visit the different bike shops, don't tell them what the previous bike shop said to you, because they'll kind of just go on that, or they'll bad talk them or whatever. So bike shops is a very competitive business. So if you go in, you say, hey, I'm looking for a bike. I need a mountain bike under $1,500. That's my budget. And don't let them talking into you to something more expensive. They should be able to show you something under $1,500. And then say, can you help me on fitting? What bike size should I have? And see what all of them say. And if they all say the same thing, there you go. Now you know your bike size. If they all say different things, then see which one's out of the 2 out of the 3 or whatnot, and is the one just trying to sell you what they have on the floor. All right? So little advice there on buying bikes. I've seen some really good bike shops, and unfortunately I've also gone into some really shady bike shops, and they don't seem shady. That's the problem. It seemed like the nicest, most professional bike shops looking from outside, and you go in and they always want to sell you what they got on the floor, man. It's like a used car dealership or something. All right. So this is a really good bike for the money, I think. It's a 29er. It's a good suspension design. It's Dior, which is okay. I'd like to see a little bit better at this price range, but we'll go swiftly moving along. So this is another bike from Jensen USA. It's a GT Verb Elite 27.5. It's definitely orange. So they have medium and large. Oops, how did I do that? Can I go back? Yes. All right. So they have medium and large, $1,300. So let's look at. I actually like GT. GT goes back a long way. Okay, so the fork is okay. You know, I'd like to see a little bit better. This one has Shimano Olivio shifters. I'd like to see a little bit better. If we compare this bike, for example, to the previous one, I thought we saw Dior. Yeah, we saw Dior all along. So I'm going to say we'd like to see a little bit better than this. This bike is not spec'd as nice as it should be, or that I think we can get at this price range. Now, listen, if you love orange, then, whatever. But you got to buy a bike that's attractive to you, that you look at it and you think it's sexy. At least that's how I look at bikes. I go, look at that, that's sexy. I like black and red. It's nice. So this one seems like you have to buy locally, but just to give you a reference, this is a great suspension design. This is a Giant stance, 27.5. It's a 2017 model, so it should be readily available from any Giant dealer. Again, the shifters are a little bit lower grade than I was hoping for this price range. Dior, 9-speed. Come on, we got to see a little bit better than that. Yeah, I'd like to see a little bit better. Then again, it's not all the way to the 1,500 mark, but I think we can get a little bit better than that. It's good suspensions, though. It's a RockShox, so I like to have more than the 9-speed in the back, though. I like to see a little bit better. Another one from Jensen. This is right at $1,500. So, boys and girls, what do we have? Decent suspension technology is at $27,500. Good suspensions, front and back. It's got a dropper post. I don't use dropper posts, but hey, you know what? If you're into it, it doesn't have large. It's got small and medium. Okay, so here's something that we like to see. It's a 1x system, 1x11. Okay, why does it? Okay, so am I wrong to think? Why does it say 1x system if the picture clearly shows there's a front derailleur? So there might be a little picture problem. Do not buy this without contacting them and asking them about the bike first, because there is a discrepancy on what they say the bike comes with versus the picture. So we want to make sure we're getting exactly what we think we're getting. So Jensen USA, that's a first strike for Jensen. Normally that's what I see with performance bike. Almost every single video I do, the picture doesn't match. So this is on the description, it's a 1x system, which means you have one chainring in the front, generally a narrow wide chainring, so it doesn't drop the derailleur, and either 10 or 11 speed in the back. So description is everything we want to see at this price range, but the picture doesn't match. It's got a front derailleur there. It's clearly a front derailleur. So don't buy that without calling them or asking what's going on. It is a 2016 model, and there's a couple of sizes left, so you know you gotta make sure you're getting exactly what you're paying for. Limited sizing here, but here's Marin. I like Marin too. Marin goes way back. I used to race Marin. I used to race a Marin Pine Mountain in the early 90s, like 93, 94. Marin was huge back then. Limited sizing, but there's lots of Marin dealers, so you can look and see what's available. It's a 1x10 system. That's perfectly fine. Decent frame and fork, decent suspension technology. I wouldn't hesitate. You know, can we get a little bit better? Maybe we can get a little bit better, but I wouldn't hesitate in purchasing something like that. $1,400, it hits the mark. It's what we want to see. So that's a decent bike from Performance Bicycle. So here is a Fuji Reveal 1.1 27.5 bike. It's a 2017, so it should be readily available, even though they have some limited sizing. It seems like the 17 is out of stock. But if you call locally or whatnot, they might have something. And if you shop around for that particular bike, other online retailers are surely going to have something, I believe. So I do want to bring up something here regarding suspension technology and what I like and what I don't like. So this is a little bit older suspension technology, if I may say so. It looks like a single pivot suspension. So nothing pivots in the back. There's a pivot right there in the front. You know, people are going to argue with me, and everybody has their own opinion, right? I can tell you from experience, single pivot are not as efficient and as good as a 4-bar or something like a Maestro looking, or some other suspension technologies. So based on the price point, this is the kind of suspension technology I would expect at $1,000. You know, if you take this $1,000 frame and you just put nicer stuff on it, I want to see something more. So I want to see something better. I want to see something that is more efficient. So I personally would just not buy that bike. You know, this is the kind of bike I'd expect to pay $1,000 for, based on the suspension technology they're selling the frame with. So I'm going to say no to that. GT, good stuff. They got their own little crazy call it a 4-bar linkage or whatever they want to call it. They don't call it a 4-bar linkage, but they came up with their own little thing. So good suspension technology. It still has that front derailleur. I'd like to see a 1-by system, to be honest, at this price range. And this is what kills me. All right, guys and gals, YouTubers. At this price range, if you think about it, it's not more expensive for a bike company to do it. So why have a 2-by when you can have a 1-by, which is simpler? It doesn't make any sense. Frame-wise, color and suspension technology and everything else, absolutely. Would I hesitate and buy this? No, I would not. Because I know that for me to turn that into a 1-by is $35. So let me tell you what you do. You buy a chain ring, a race face chain ring that's narrow and wide chain ring. You can swap it out and put the chain ring on there. That's a 1 chain ring. So you remove the cranks, put a 1-by chain ring in the front, remove the front derailleur, remove the cabling for the front derailleur, and remove the shifter in the front, and there you go. You got a 1-by. So $35 will turn this into a 1-by. The bike shop can help you do it. They shouldn't charge much to do it because it's very labor not intensive. So I mean, for me to turn a bike 1-by, there's no settings. It's just swapping out the derailleur and taking away swapping out the chain rings and taking away the derailleur and front shifter, and voila. So would I strongly consider this bike? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's got it's 10 speed in the back, which is fine. Nothing wrong with it. You don't have to have 11 speed. I'd like to see 10 or 11 speed at this price range. Good suspensions. X-Fusion does really good suspensions. 27.5, 130 travel, and 140 in the front. I'd ride the crap out of that thing. That looks awesome. That looks like a fun bike. Yep, really, really good bike. So GT, good job. You did a good job at a right price point. I don't like the retail of it, but at the under $1,500, yeah, absolutely. Next bike. Well, it's a single pivot again, isn't it? So Fuji, get better. You know, you can put a lot of things on a cake. You can put nice, frosting and everything else on a cake, which is the accessories or the gear. But if the inside of the cake is crap, then it's not a bike for me. So I'm not going to go for it. For all you, well, I say there's not very many single pivot lovers out there. It's really, no, Fuji, no. All right, so what do I have here? Yeah, I'm not excited about this at all. This is a Diamondback. This is straight from Diamondback's website. You can clearly see this is the single pivot design. Again, just different little shapes or whatnot, but you can clearly see it. I'm not a big fan. What I am a big fan of is it's a 1-by system. These guys got it right. They got the frame wrong. The price is okay. They got all the other stuff, but the frame technology, it's just, why wouldn't they have a 4-bar linkage or something like that at this price point? So I'm not going to go with Diamondback. Here's another example. It's a 1-by system. They got everything right except for the frame, so I'm not going to buy it. I'm not a buyer. This is bikesdirect.com. Sorry. And I picked out 3 bikes here. And before you start screaming, I did go a little bit above budget on a couple of them. So this one is $15.99. And I took 3 of them out. This is a 29er. So if you are one of those people that are dead set on a 29er, and that's why I brought this one up, I think you get a lot of bike for the money on this 29er. Okay, so looking at this bike, it's a 29er, and let's see some of the goodies that it comes with. So it has a 120 mil travel fork, so I would put that on the cross-country kind of range. And we do have a front derailleur. Let me see here. It's 11-speed SLX, so it's pretty good stuff. I think this is a good option. Really nice, good long seat post. I think this is a good option, and I know I'm going a little bit above budget at $15.99 or $1,600. But if you're dead set on 29ers and you're looking for something that's got a really good, let's blow this up here, a really good gearing. So SLX, Shimano SLX is excellent. This is a really nice setup. So good suspension technology. It's a 4-bar linkage, good suspension. SLX is great. Again, would I have liked to see a 1-by system here? Absolutely. Same thing with the other one. It's $35 to turn this into a 1-by. Get rid of these chain rings. Slap on a $35 narrow wide chain ring from Raceface, for example. Get rid of the front shifter, which is up here. Get rid of the front derailleur, and you got your 1-by. So great setup. The second bike from their lineup that I have, again, I apologize, it's $1,600. I just saw a couple of them that were $100 more, but they come with such great stuff. I mean, we're talking SLX XT stuff, Shimano gearing, that it's a great deal, guys. So this one is a 27.5. I would put this more towards the trail ride, trail biking. It's 150 mil front and back, so you have a lot more travel. For you cross-country people, that might be a little bit too much for you. It all depends what you want to use, but I mean, you're dealing with a Shimano Dior XT 11-speed cassette, SLX shifters. This is such a nice setup. This is such a nice setup. It's compared to some other bikes, you almost wonder how they do it. You know, they the Bikes Direct. 2 great colors. I think the black one looks, I mean, that's just beautiful right there. Again, I will tell you, I would remove and make it a 1-by. That's me. But you don't have to. Ride it the way it is. You know, it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't slow you down having 2 chain rings in the front. I mean, this is a great setup. Look at that. That is so much bike for $1,600. You would be hard pressed to find anything as nice of a setup as this from Trek or Specialized or Giant. But you know what? Go ahead and check and see. Don't let me stop you. But that's a great looking bike, great setup. It actually looks like it's through axle front and through axle back. So I mean, you're not going to go wrong. Let me see that one. I wish we could have seen a bigger, better picture of that one. So 2 different colors. Check on the sizing for these. They're in centimeters versus inches. I don't know why they do that. So kind of, if you're not really sure what you're supposed to be writing, convert it into inches. There's simple Google search, how much is 44 centimeters in inches, and so on. So simple Google search, and kind of, if you need to, call them. I'm sure they have their phone number somewhere around here, and kind of go from there. But here you have some sizing. It's funny. Oh, here we go. So they gives you a rough estimate on sizing, whether it's large or whatnot. So if you're, yep. But it's got really good stuff. I know we're a little bit above budget with this one at $1,600, but compared to some other bikes we've seen, this and this 29er. Now, if you ask me, I don't know. It's what you guys want to ride. If you're dead set on a 29er, you're a little bit more cross-country oriented, maybe the 29er. Not because of the 29er wheels, because of the travel and the way it's set up. If you want to have that travel and want to have fun, then this bike is I think it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So this one here is below the $1,500. I did want to make sure that I had a bike under the $1,500. It's $1,400. Let's see what we can get for $1,400. First of all, let me just say that's a beautiful bike. Note, it's a 1x system. Love it, guys. Absolutely love it that they put under $1,500, 4-bar linkage, good suspension, 1x. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Black and red, unless you hate black and red, but I think this bike is absolutely gorgeous. The only thing that I see right now that you should be aware of, it's not bad, but you should be aware of, is that this is not a through axle. It's a quick release rear wheel. It looks, I say it looks like a through axle in the front. Here's the thing. Here's where marketing and hype have taken over a little bit. Not all the way, but a little bit. Yeah, so it is quick release in the back. Let me see if I can find out if it's quick release in the front. Fork. Yeah, it's quick release in the front as well. Okay, so it's quick release wheels. It's not through axle. So, is there something wrong with quick release wheels? No, there isn't. We've been using them on both road and mountain bikes for 15 years. I don't know, more. In the 15 plus years, I have actually been riding myself with quick release wheels, both on mountain bikes, trail bikes, downhill bike, well, not pure downhill bikes, but road bikes, you name it, all bikes. How many times have I ever lost the wheel or felt it was too flexy because of the quick release? 0 times. 0. Now, that being said, guys, is through axle more secure or better? Well, arguably, yes, it is. But I've never had an issue. I've never seen anybody with an issue with quick release. So don't shy away from it. Don't let a bike shop or anyone in the bike industry tell you, oh, you got to have through axle because it's safer or it's better or oh, it's so much stiffer, you can feel it. Give me a break. You can't feel it. The building of the wheel, the quality of the wheel and the spoke tension, the rims, are going to give you more of the feel of whether it is more stiff or not than the quick release or the through axle. There is no movement on the quick release when you tie it down on the hub. It doesn't move. So, you know, is it added stiffness? Sure, it's added stiffness on paper, on math. But do you really feel it? You know, unless you go wider, which now they're starting to do the boost, you know, boost front and boost rear. There is no added stiffness. Plus, these are 27.5 wheels. So it's not like 29er wheels. 29er wheels have longer spokes. If you have really long spokes, then there's more flex in the wheel. Shorter spokes, 27.5 wheels, is less flex. So just by the size of the wheel, you're going to have less flexy wheels. It's kind of simple, but a lot of people like to put a lot of smoke and mirrors in front of you. This here, I think, is a incredible deal. Incredible deal. You have an aluminum frame. It looks great. 4-bar linkage, 1x system. You don't have to spend a penny other than helmet, gloves, glasses, bottle cage, and a water bottle or a Camelback, whatever you like. It's beautiful, and they also have it in, oh, they didn't show me that picture, but it seems like they have it in gray, green, or something like that. Yeah, I'd ride the crap out of that bike right there. That is beautiful. That one comes with, what was it, 120 mil travel front and back. I mean, it's like a do-it-all. Like, you can go cross country on it, you can go trail on it. You know, there's absolutely nothing bad that I can pick out on that particular bike. You know, as things break, if they break, you replace it like any other bike. It's high quality. You would be hard pressed to find a better bike for a better price. You really would. It's 11 speed, guys. It's the latest. You're going to have 1142 rear cassette, 11 speed, 1x system. I'm in love with this bike. Look at it. Looks amazing. Looks amazing. Yep, looks amazing. So when I compare this bike, you say, well, 1400, should I splurge for this one? And this one was the 1600, a little bit more travel. It comes down to your travel preference. This is an absolute steal. It's such a great deal. This does have through axle. If that is a big mental thing for you, then great. And but it's a 2x system. I prefer 1x. It's simpler. I know that it's super simple to upgrade that. That would have to be an upgrade point for me, though. I would buy this and I would upgrade it. This one comes just like I want to ride it. This is just beautiful and perfect. Absolutely gorgeous. I love it. Absolutely love it. I think it's the best $1,400 you can ever spend on a bike. Now, if you're concerned about motorbike, you don't want to ride a motorbike, it's too Walmarty for you, or whatever you want to call it. I kind of understand that to a certain point. If you want to go for a more established brand like Trek or Specialized and whatnot, try to compare it with this. Know what you're buying and make your choices. This is a crazy good deal, but try to compare it. Look at their suspension technology. If it's single pivot, I'm not a big fan. If it's kind of like the 4-bar linkage that you see here, or some even better like Maestro, Specialized has decent technology. Trek has really good suspension technology. Giant is probably my favorite out of the bunch. I'm thinking of Cannondale. Cannondale is okay as well. I like theirs. So all of those ones have decent ones. I didn't like the Fujis that we looked at. I thought they were kind of like, a little old, little dated. I think that looks really good. So there you have it, guys. There's my 2 cents and my guide. This one turned out to be really, really long. But, I have true passion for this stuff, and I want to give you what my opinion is from experience and what I like to ride myself. And 120 mil is just, it's the sweet spot almost for me at this point. It's a little bit between that cross country, which is used to be, on the 100 mil line, and the trail, which is like 140, 150, 160. 120 seems to be the sweet spot. This bike can be super fast. It probably can go up and down great, depending on tires and different things you might want to set it up for. But if you're looking at the best bike, best bang for buck, and that's really what I think this is helpful for. Best bang for buck. This beauty here, you would be very hard pressed to find something better. There's 3 great bikes there. I think I said that I like the GT sensor. I think that's a good deal from performance. And the Jamis, I think that's also a good solid bike. So I think we have a good gamut. And by the way, this one is easily upgradable to a 1x, so it's not a big deal. You're looking at $35, and this is, it looks great. I would ride all of those bikes. I wouldn't have any hesitation in riding them, racing them, and they would be bikes that would last a very long time. Should last a very long time. If you have questions about quality of the frame, you should have those questions. You should see what is the quality. If there is a crack in the frame, it happens every now and then. Even the best manufacturers, Trek, which is one of the largest bike companies in the world, has tons of frame failures. I know so many people have had frame failures with Trek, but they have a good warranty. So, contact Bikes Direct, ask what their warranty is on the frame, make sure that it is on there and it's on paper and you have that warranty. So if something happens, that you have someone that will send you a new frame if it cracks or whatever. But with some of these, if I may say so, a little bit lower end, on the $1,500 mark frames, they don't make them the lightest they can. And because they don't make them the lightest they can, they tend to be a little bit stronger. They tend to actually last longer or better than some of the lighter ones. The lighter you go, the less material, and the more important the welds are. And the more important the welds are, the higher chance of failure, because you have human interaction. People are welding these bikes, the frames together. So So thank you so much. This is the under $1,500 video. I will create either under 2,000 and also under 2,500. I'm not really sure if I'll do every $500, because they start blur the lines. It starts blurring the lines a lot. I will do like the best aluminum frame bike. So whether that's 2,000 or 2,500, I want to see some really high-end, nice aluminum frame bikes. And then what I'll do is the cheapest, most bang for buck carbon full suspension bike, mountain bike that you can get. So we'll see how that works. I wanted to come out with this video really quick because I had several viewers message me and say, hey, I'm really looking forward to under $1,500 because that's where my price range is. So that's why I wanted to release this video as quickly as possible. Thank you so much again. Subscribe. I'll do more of these videos, and comment. If you want to see something specific, just let me know. Hopefully you will find something useful. Hey, keep on riding and have fun, guys.